Alright, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean coming at you on this very foggy day, April 30th, 2019, at about 9:25 a.m. Today's video du jour is a good one. Just Sunday, of course, we had the big battle on Game of Thrones, and I thought, wow, watching trailer reactions and people complaining about it and or praising it. I'm in the middle ground. No spoilers in case anybody who hasn't seen it yet. But it was an action-packed episode. And I personally enjoyed it. My wife enjoyed it. We liked it a lot. So we're eagerly waiting next week's episode to see what happens. Because I think I'm going to hope that the writers and developers and the designers of the show did what they did to keep us hanging on and to see what happens. You know, I'm hoping this isn't, that the battle resolved and that's it. I don't think so. But anyway, today's video du jour, Green Ronin, a Song of Ice and Fire, role-playing a Game of Thrones edition. Put my spectacles on, see when this came out. This game is produced with the blessing of George R.R. Martin, which is pretty cool. And a lot of you who are big fans of Robert J. Schwab, who's done tons of work for D&D and I think Demon's Gate or whatever his RPG is. I can't think of the name of it now. I don't own it. I should say I don't own a physical copy. I own a PDF copy. A buddy of mine bought it for me and sent it to me when it came out. I can't think of the name of the game, but it's the demons and it's its own realm, and it's a very dark game, and you can play a clockwork being. It's pretty cool. It's just not my cup of tea. Not that it's a bad game or anything, but anyway, if you're a Robert J. Schwab fan, then this game is probably right up your alley. I'm trying to look at a copyright date here. I've got the copy. 2012 from Green Ronin. So they came out with this version. There's some mistakes and some errors in here. Not horrible. If you see this on a game shelf, pick it up. It's well worth your time. It is sewn, stitched, and glue binding. Mine is not falling apart. It's a beautiful cover. We got the dragon on the back, which I really like. It uses the Chronicle system, which is its own system. It's a D6 system. I've only played it once. I do have the GM screen, which I recommend. It's beautiful. It's done very similar to the Age screen. If you're familiar with Fantasy Age, or if you watched my review yesterday, you'll know it's got a picture of the wall, which I thought was awesome. And it's a 3-panel landscape screen, but it's done very similar to the Fantasy Age screen. So very similar. Nothing out of the ordinary, or there's no wasted space with art or anything like that, which I like. I can't talk a whole lot about the mechanics because I don't remember them, to be blatantly honest. I do remember that I found some inconsistencies in this book, and I happened to be in Barnes and Noble's one day, and I saw this. And I was like, well, what the hell is this? And so I looked it up, and I'm a fan of pocket editions. I have one or two from Pathfinder. I have the core rulebook from The Dark Eye, and I have a couple other small ones. Of course, the Savage Worlds pocket edition, or digest size, whatever you want to call it. So I still got a bookmark in here. How long ago was this from? This might be where I bought it from. I bought it at the Game Depot. Tempe, Arizona. I bought this from Dave and Patty, who own the Game Depot. Super awesome, wonderful people. Love them to death. If you're ever down there in Tempe, Arizona, and you're looking for a great game store, go see Dave and Patty. They have an awesome game store. I paid $29.66. I bought it on 3/15/2013, so shortly after it came out. And $29.99. Yeah. $24.99. Oh, wrong book. This is the Night's Watch book. So I bought this wherever I bought it. I don't remember where I bought it. I think I did buy it at, I think, Barnes and Nobles. That was the night. I was like, why is the price more? Dave and Patty always give me a discount, so they wouldn't charge me more. That doesn't seem right. So anyway, after I bought this, a little while later, they came out with the revised pocket edition. And I'll put a link to this one up in the show notes there. It's on drive-through for a respectable price. This had an adventure in it and had all the goofs. I also like the way it is printed. Like I said, I'm a big fan of these digest size or pocket editions, but I like the parchment style paper. It's just easier to read on my old tired eyes. But it is pretty much the same thing that is in this book. That is in the same core book, only shrunk down. I believe, if I remember correctly, it does have the character sheet in here. Let me see if I'm correct. No, it does not. It does not. So they want you to go to the website and download. But very well laid out, very well done. Comprehensive index and table of contents, just like the hardback. The hardback is nice. You've got all the house logos on the back here. It talks about their Chronicle system. Which, if I remember correctly, is very similar to the Age system. I know it's a D6 system. We'll take a look at it here in a second. I don't want to go too much out of this book because I know things changed from this to the digest. So I would recommend, if you're going to pick it up on Mr. Mean's recommendation and you're a fan of Game of Thrones or George R.R. Martin, you should pick up the pocket edition. It's going to serve you better, and or you'd have to go download the errata, which I'm sure is up on the Green Ronin forums. They're pretty savvy about that. But the thing that I was most excited about, because I am not an intrigue GM, it's not my strong point. I don't do horror. I don't do intrigue very well. I'd like to think I do action pretty well, and that kind of stuff. Anything in that realm. And so Night's Watch, which is what I bought at the Game Depot for $24.99 or $29.99, and it retailed for $32.99. So Dave and Patty always gave me a little bit of a discount, so very nice of them to do that. This is the for winter. Night gathers, and now your watch begins, for winter is coming. This is the Night's Watch supplement, so if you want to make a character of the Night's Watch, this is everything you need to know. The art in here is very evocative. There's one of the Night's Watch guys fighting a White Walker. So if you want your game to be a little more action-oriented, action-packed, as opposed to a lot of the intrigue, then this is a must-have supplement, because these guys were able to go north of the wall and fight all the creepy crawly things that are there. And there's some good stuff in here. No spoilers. Let's try to figure out what this Chronicle system is, because I don't remember. Let's see here. The Almanac of Westeros, inscribed and related by Maester Josiah. And the art in here is really well done. It's very much, that's just a cool map. Very well done. I like the black and white. I don't know. It really fits the tone of this book, because this is a dark game. I mean, when you play the Game of Thrones, everyone loses. To me, it's cool that you have all this stuff. I would play a Dorn if it was me, because I dig the Dorn knife fighters, but that's just me. And then you have you can be a knight. Game rules. Here we go. Let's get to the game rules. The basics. Song of Ice and Fire Role Player is a role-playing game of fantasy adventure game that sees the players taking the roles of characters and exploring the world created by George R.R. Martin in his A Song of Ice and Fire novels. Veterans of role-playing games will undoubtedly find many of the concepts familiar For the novices, a role-playing game, and then it goes on to, we don't need to. We want to know what the mechanics are. Using a rolling dice is how you determine success and failure and attempted actions of the game, blah, blah, blah. The number of dice you roll describes your chances of success at any given task. The ability that has best described the action you're attempting to perform determines how many dice you will roll. When rolling dice, try something, you're said to be testing the ability or rolling an ability test. These dice are called test dice, and you add them up after rolling. So you're going to have a dice pool, and you're going to roll them all together and try to beat a target number. Step 2, random results. Test and difficulties. All right, so it's a dice pool system, and I believe it's D6s, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure. I'm looking to try and see. Yep, called D6s. Yeah. So, target number set by the GM. Modifiers. Modifier is a bonus, a plus or minus number, with the number telling you what to add or subtract from your test. All right. So, you have your attributes. You're going to have a target number that the GM is going to assign. I'll bet you on the GM screen there's probably a target number thing. Armour is going to subtract. So, it's very similar to the age system. It's just we're rolling a bunch more dice instead of 3d6. Intrigue structure, dispositions, warfare set structure, rates of travel. So, I mean, you got everything on here. Movement, combat structure. I was hoping for target numbers. Well, here we go. Routine successes. And you got your abilities. So, all your skills are based off your abilities. And then yeah, you roll there. So, rank 2 is easy. It's automatic success. So you go to a rank 8 as hard. Target number is a 15. So they use ranks, and then, which to me seems unnecessary. Just say it's a target number, 15, and it's automatic success. And I remember they had a mechanic in here if you had the skills already at that level. So if you had if your totals and everything equaled up to 15 before rolling the dice, it was an automatic success, and it counted as 6 successes. So it was really good. But of course, to get to that, it's really hard. But anyway, so that's. Oops. Am I gonna sneeze? Excuse me. I got my coffee. It's a beautiful day. A little foggy out. So, I didn't want to go too deep into it. I just wanted to put up a quick video so I got something out. I've got a lot of errands and stuff to run today, and I have to have a job interview. So we're hoping on that. But yeah, here's the revised edition. Like I said, it does have an adventure in it. They put out a couple of books for it, but it doesn't look like anything new has come out in quite a while. There is the Night's Watch book and the Chronicle Starter. And I don't know what the Chronicle Starter is. I've never seen it. I don't know if it's a physical book or if it's a PDF. To get the full experience of the Song of Ice and Fire role-playing, you'll want to play a Chronicle so you can engage in the Game of Thrones with a setting as rich as Westeros. Through where do you begin? The answer is the Chronicle Starter. So it's just to help you kick off your adventure, and probably some advice on setting up intrigue and all that, noble garb. Equipment. I like the pocket edition. I like the art in it. I like the way the book is laid out. We've got some narrative characters, an assassin, some different creatures, bears, boars, hedge knights, dire wolf statistics, a hound, ravens. There's not a whole lot of fantastical creatures in this. This is not D&D. This is not Palladium fantasy. This is low magic, low fantasy in a medieval world is kind of what you're playing. There is some aspects to magic. The maesters kind of do the science part of it, and even there's resistance to that because of anything too radical, and they're like, whoa, slow down, Sparky. The one bad guy that transforms the mountain into that monster that he is. He was already a monster, and they just made him worse. That kind of stuff is, heretical and whatever. But there is magic, and you can play a magic type character, but it's not, you're not slinging fireballs or anything like that. It's very low key. It's mostly manipulation stuff. We've got our giants, whites, and that's basically when it talks about supernatural creatures, the others, whites and giants. That's pretty much, we've got 2 flavors of whites, human whites and coarser whites. And that's it. So, there's not a whole lot there. I mean, if you're looking for crazy monsters and stuff like that, this is not the game for you. If you're looking to sling fireballs, again, this is not the game for you. But if you want to tell an intrigued, politically based manipulation type game, if your group is into that, with a little bit of combat, this is definitely up your alley. If you want to play the Night's Watch and you want to get knee deep in the hoopla, you can, because there's a lot more critters and stuff in here. And like I said, that's why I picked it up, because I'm not super big into the intrigue and everything. I like a little bit more action in my game. But they go into deep here about the others, and of course there's an awesome picture of a White Walker. So there's excerpts. Somehow my book got bent. The King of Winter, the White Lady. These are in the books. They haven't made it into the TV show. They've bypassed them. Child Taker, Huntsman's. These are just different creatures, and they give you some scenario outlines. Again, I think this book is well worth it. I don't believe there's anything magic about this one for the Night's Watch. It's all pretty much, for those that don't know, when you get assigned, you have 2 options depending on your situation in the land of Westeros. If you are of noble birth and you're, the 4th or 5th child in the line, or if you just pissed off your dad, you can be sent to the Night's Watch to take the black, as it's called. Meaning you're never going to have any inheritance. You're never going to have any social standing, or your parents, your dad, your mom, your whatever, your family just thinks you're a worthless hump. And you get sent to the Night's Watch. Usually under political scandal, there was a rigged court. Sam Tarly is a perfect example of that. He was more of a book learner and an educated kid than a warrior, and his dad was just totally dissatisfied with him, and so basically threw him to the Night's Watch to get rid of him. Which, real shitty story, and it is what it is. Anyway, so this is more your martial. If you want to play more of a combat-oriented game with things to do beyond the wall, this is probably the book for you. I'm just looking to see if they have your character creation. 113 pages total. A good chunk of it is character creation. But your character is 99.9% going to be taken from the wretches of society. You're going to be a gambler who got caught cheating, or maybe winning too much and then got, hoosed-out by a corrupt noble, which is definitely something that can happen. You could be a failed sellsword. You failed to complete your mission or whatever, and the noble who hired you fucking threw your ass to the wolves or to the Night's Watch. So captured poacher, obviously with the nobles and the rich and the have-nots, you get caught. Defeated sellsword, an old crow, and an unlucky gambler are your archetypes, and then you get to pick some choices from there. Very similar to Fantasy Age, where you make choices
2d6 and you get a bonus to something. So definitely well worth picking up. Like I said, if you're into that, and I thought it was just appropriate since we just had the big battle of the North with the Night Watchers and the Free Peoples, and the Sullied and everything. If you haven't seen, go watch the episode. I think it's pretty fun. So what else is going on? Like I said, we talked about the mechanics a little bit. Like I said, I haven't played it since it came out. The Chronicle system. Let's see if they say more in here. I don't want to leave you guys hanging. I know it's a decent system. I don't think you'll have any problems running it. Penalty dice, yeah. So let's see. Okay, so when you do a basic test, you're going to roll test dice equal to the ability. You're going to roll bonus dice gained from specialty or assistance. You're going to discard a number of dice equal to the bonus dice rolled and sum the remainder. Add and subtract any modifiers. Compare the result to difficulty and determine success or failure. So there you go. Compares the results of the difficulty. Yeah. So it's a dice pool system. It's cut and dry. Penalties are going to be you're going to get bonus dice from specialties and or assistance if somebody is helping you, and then you're going to go from there. So an extended basic test are just going to mean you're going to need more successes. Penalty dice are subtracted from the test dice, starting with the lowest first, after any bonus dice have been discarded, but before the dice are summed to determine the result. A penalty dice is abbreviated as negative $ with a capital D, where the number symbol is the number of penalty dice. Minus 2 penalty dice. So you're going to roll your dice. The GM's going to give you a penalty. You're going to remove the lowest dice first. So the game wants you to succeed, which is good. But you want to keep your bonus dice and your penalty dice separate from your core dice. And that's where you can just use different color dice. So pretty simple system. Like I said, this book has been errated, and they put out the reprint of the paperback edition, which comes with a starting adventure, some plot hooks, and all the errata and everything. And like I said, it even says on Drive-Thru-RPG that this is the version you want to get. So I'll put links in the doobly-doo. Like I said, I'm a big fan of the Night's Watch book. I really enjoyed it because that's what attracts me to the Game of Thrones series is the warriors and the combat. And I like that. Not to say that I'm not a fan of the intrigue. It's just not my cup of tea. But if you're at all familiar with Game of Thrones or George R.R. Martin's saga, then and you want to play in that role-playing world, this is the definitive set right here. This is everything you need to play in that world, and all of that stuff's available on Drive-Thru-RPG and or Green Ronin's website. And I will put notes down in the doobly-doo. So a little bit of a shorter video today. Let's get some housekeeping out of the way. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. We're up to, I think, 488 subscribers. We're doing great. Thank you guys for showing the love. If you want to help support the channel and you're in the U.S. or its territories, you can go through your mobile banking app. You can go to zellipay.com, and you can just email me, J is the letter J as in John, jpolak@gmail.com, P-O-L-A-C-K, @gmail.com, and it's free for you and free for me, aside from obviously whatever you donate to me, and I get the money within minutes, so that's the awesome part. So anyway, like and subscribe. Hit up my brothers on Nerd International. Go check us out on MeWe. I'm on Discord. Nerds is on Discord. Hit us up. Love to chat with you guys. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Real quick one. Not a whole lot to go over. It's pretty cut and dry. Pick it up. It's a buy in Mr. Mean's book, but get the pocket edition. If you want the big book just for the cool art and adding it to your game collection, if you're like me, then yeah, by all means pick it up. But if you're going to play this and you're going to run it, you want the pocket edition. And like I said, I'm going to put a link to that in the doobly-doo. So as always, peace, love, and hair grease. And remember, Mr. Mean says, be nice.